Alright, hold on. Brandy just dropped a track responding to Jack Harlow. She said she was gonna murk him in rap. Let's see if she's about that. On the first class.
Welcome back. Concord. You forgot about me. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is world famous, one of the greatest living legend. Did I mention my resume is amazing? The game need a breath of fresh air and I'm breathtaking. Painted pictures, Cinderella scriptures, but that don't mean Jack in the streets. Jack of all trades, now I'm here, Jack of the beats. Queens cancel, but you could never cancel a queen. Crown concrete stone, an angel in disguise of Rome, the earth godlike. The son of Jehovah's own, I bear witness to my second coming. 100 miles I'm running, still getting money from Mo to the I overdone it. Over 20 years and I'm still a topic. A picture's worth $1 million, now I'm feeling dropping. 43 and feeling like a kid with millions watching. Popular, but now I'm popping shit for those out of pocket. I went diamond, guess I'm still a gold mine shining. This black excellence at its finest. Don't call me Brandy no more, call me your highness. Built tougher than my brother Ray J glasses. Cause it's passion, you woke up a beast, now it's madness. Singer slash rapper slash actress, and reaching for the crown. You might get a handful of thorns, or maybe you just wanna be down. I put on for my women, boss chicks and kings, put respect on my name. I was here before me, skinny jeans and dope fiends, high on lean. I'm high off life, and most times that's all you need. And the moral to my story is my chapter is new again. Back on top of the world, God's new again. Doing something people thought I'd never do again. For the fans, the hustlers and hooligans, yeah.
Yo, what? Stop playing with Brandy. We gotta drop some balls for Brandy. That shit was fire. That was crazy. Stop playing with Brandy's name. Her name is her name. The first track aimed at Jack Harlow is coming from Brandy. And trust me, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. And thank you for joining me tonight with Conversations with Taz. And if you were shook that Brandy got bars, you do not know Miss Brandy Norwood, okay? She done had bars since back in the day. It's just that her record label for the longest wouldn't take her seriously because people knew her as an actress before she moved into being the pristine vocalist that she is. But she didn't always have bars. So I was shocked that they canceled the show Queens because, baby, and she got that pen. Don't we all love Brandy? She had a little dip off, but we brought her back. We brought her back after her little dip. We have a lot to get into tonight. And real quick, just a few reminders. One, the audio podcast Tastastic Tuesdays is up. As always, I never know how YouTube is going to put it. It'll either be right before this video or right after, or you can go to the link tree, excuse me, and listen to it directly from there. Also, this Thursday is the men's roundtable regarding men's health. So we will have that going on this week. And there are new blogs that are out. Links are linked into the description here. And as always, the petition regarding Amber Heard is also linked in the description. So make sure you check that out. But they always say start close to home. So let's start right here in my living room in the okay, quite mediocre Fairbasin Bones Bottom Commonwealth of Kentucky. Coming from WBKO.com, Senator Rand Paul discusses Protecting Our Children Act. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul was in Glasgow today to discuss with Kentuckians, this was from June 3rd, Kentuckians change they're hoping to see in the Commonwealth. While there, Paul discussed his thoughts on the Protecting Our Children Act. The House Judiciary Committee passed the measure Thursday. It's a package of 8 bills aiming to raise the age for buying semi-automatic rifles and bar large capacity magazines. Paul says he finds the banning of certain weapons and ammunition unconstitutional. I don't think banning whole types of weapons is consistent with the Constitution, Senator Paul said. I also don't think banning how much ammunition you can put into your gun at a time is something that's consistent with the principles of self-defense or the Constitution. As always, I'm going to give you some background. Number one, here in Kentucky, there are some gun freaks. They couldn't get into the police academy. They couldn't get into the military. And these are the ones that'll constantly tell you about how they did ROTC in high school. And then they'll tell you like, well, I got the highest score on the naval exam. Then why aren't you in the Navy? But I digress. So guns are their whole personality, and they will have stockpiles of ammunition, but all they do is clean the guns. They don't go out into the woods and shoot. They don't go to the shooting range. They don't hunt. They just have this variety of weapons to pull out and show people, and everybody just go, ooh, and oh my goodness, Jethro, yours must be big. But Rand Paul is also, we'll say, a former ophthalmologist who tried to create his own doctor association because he couldn't pass the qualifications to get his license renewed when he needed to. So take anything that he says or his beliefs with a grain of salt. He has zero understanding of the Constitution. The Constitution does not guarantee you to have your own Fort Knox of ammunition. The Constitution does not guarantee you to have military grade ammunition. It guarantees you the right to have a well-trained, well-regulated militia. I do not see anyone who is a weekend warrior that belongs to the militia. Weekend warriors are in what? The Army Reserve. So miss me with the boosh tickety. Be like 2 guns and 4 bullets. Because let's not forget, back in then, you had the musket style. You had to have your pellet, your gunpowder, your... Why do you think they had bayonets on the end? Because they got one good shot off, and then they had to stick you. That's why we were lined up like this. So when one shot you, they could reload in the next line, and then the next line, and then the next line, and then the next line. Why do you think so many people were maimed and scarred and died slowly? But everything's constitutional. Even when it comes to electronics and inventions that happened eons after that. And who said that a bunch of men who didn't mind raping children, kidnapping people, breeding people as if they were cattle, just being so hypocritical, which is the only true American way, and bestiality could set forth rules in perpetuity? But coming from Reuters, from the I should be shocked, but I'm really not category, Mitch McConnell, 2 governors said to be in Wisconsin gunman's hit list. The names of U.S. Senator Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers. That is a weird list for one hitman to have because they don't really stand on the... I digress. Let's continue, child. Appeared on a hit list kept by a man accused of fatally shooting a retired Wisconsin judge, authorities and local media said on Saturday. Yesterday, our office was notified by law enforcement officials that Governor Whitmer's name appeared on the Wisconsin gunman's list, a spokesperson for Whitmer told Reuters. You know what? Governor Whitmer is just going through a lot. Everybody want to kidnap her, kill her, and everything. But baby, if they ain't hating on you, you ain't doing nothing right. While the news reports are deeply troubling, we will not comment further on an ongoing criminal investigation, he said. The Wisconsin Department of Justice said retired Judge John Romer, 68, was found dead on Friday in his home after the local sheriff's office received a call about an armed person and 2 shots fired in a township of New Lisbon residents. The department called the ex-judge's killing a targeted attack. It said that Douglas Uddy, 56, was found in the basement of Romer's home with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. The suspect was taken to the hospital and a firearm was recovered at the scene. On Saturday, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel said the accused gunman had a hit list including the name of McConnell, while an ABC News affiliate reported it also included Evers. Here, white supremacy, which is in theory just supposed to hurt everyone who is not white, always has repercussions that also hurt white people every single time. And when you put in this rhetoric that, I'm ready for a great civil war, you ain't ready, the South will rise again, we're right. And you put all of these things that if somebody doesn't agree with you, you can take their life in a disagreement because they're beneath you. white people will suffer from this as well. There was a white person that was shot and killed at the Tops Market. There are white children that were affected in all of these mass shootings. Even with this great replacement theory roaming around, white people are being affected, but they don't care. A racist white person is willing to take casualties. Listen to the rhetoric and the new talking points that they have surrounding mass shootings and gun violence now. They are willing, and even around abortion, they are willing to take casualties to remain a majority and never become a minority, while trying to convince the rest of us there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a minority. So where's the fear from, Bubba? And even with that, coming from MSNBC.com, this is coming from Joy Reid's show, The Readout. This is the Readout blog. And this particular entry comes from Jahan Jones. Alleged ideology of Buffalo shooting suspect believed by most Trump voters, poll says. A new poll suggests a majority of Republicans believe in the racist theory that allegedly motivated the suspect in the deadly mass shooting in Buffalo, New York this month. And an even larger share of Republicans believe racism against white people is as big a problem as racism against black people, according to the poll. You can't be racist towards the power dynamic of racism. You can't be racist towards the originator. Y'all wanted the genre. It's the white supremacist genre. Like, why are you trying to get rid of it? Yep. He got in the way. He got to go. It's a sign of the extent to which white racial resentment has consumed the Republican Party. The poll released last week by Yahoo News and YouGov found 61% of people who voted for Donald Trump in the 2020 election believe a group of people in this country are trying to replace native-born Americans with immigrants and people of color who share their political views. You know what? There are times that they run into the point and don't even realize it. Native-born Americans would be two-site people, indigenous people, native people. They have been replaced by immigrants. And if so many people, because they're afraid they're being replaced by people of color and immigrants who share the same political beliefs, but not the political beliefs of racists, basically. So it's like, if your beliefs are in the minority, maybe consider you're standing on the wrong side of history while bragging about how your great granddaddy or your grandpappy fought against Hitler. And I'm just saying. But if you think that's wild, take a look at this clip from a recent event.
Just keep it flying.
Keep it flying? And why do you want to keep it flying?
Why would anybody want to erase our heritage?
Well, some people would say that flag symbolizes racism, it symbolizes slavery, and they might have some valid points there.
That's their opinion. They're welcome to their opinion if they want it.
Are you pro-slavery or against slavery?
I have no comment, but thank you for the interview.
I'll give you one more chance. Pro or anti-slavery?
No comment.
I'll give you one more opportunity to say if you're pro or anti-slavery.
No comment.
All right. Well, there you have it. No comment on the if you're in favor of slavery or not.
And one clip, because they're getting so emboldened, they're really not paying attention to what they're actually saying. In one clip, that whole, it's not hate, it's heritage, just went out the window. If you cannot say whether or not you are anti or pro-slavery, baby, you are definitively pro-slavery, and that's why you want to keep the flags flying. This goes back to the unwhitewashed, undaughters of the Confederacy history of the actual United States of North America, that the Confederate flags were brought back out and were flown as an indicator for where Black and brown people were not welcome and where they should not be. Hey, lovely. But, it gets better.
This picture was taken in Pennsylvania in 1963. This kid that looks about middle school age is in a violent rage about something. So what is he so mad about? A black family was moving into his neighborhood, which had previously been an all-white neighborhood. Now, obviously, this child was not born with a violent reaction to black people moving into his neighborhood. So my question is, what was this child taught between birth and middle school that caused him to have this violent reaction? This picture is from a postcard of a lynching in the 1930s. It depicts a child attending a local lynching. And as you can see, this child is not crying or scared. She's actually smiling. So again, what could this child have possibly been taught that would cause this kind of reaction to such a horrific situation? In modern times, it's really hard to understand how people just went to lynchings as entertainment. But what if you were taught certain people deserved it? If there was going to be a public execution held tomorrow at your local stadium, and the person being put to death was like the leader of the KKK or somebody trafficking children, how many people would attend that public execution just out of the belief that that person deserves it because they're a terrible person? Would you go? Would your friends go? Would your family go? Would you pay to see an evil dictator be publicly executed? The demonization and dehumanization of black people is what caused some white people to believe this was okay.
I want you to take note. There are several pictures. You can go through archives. If you're not familiar with microfilm and microfiche, please feel free to hit me up. I can teach you how to, if you're not comfortable, with a librarian being all up on you, how to handle them, how to use the machines. Because trust me, when I tell you I research stuff, I'm not joking. If you're around any historical societies, and if you're really into really wanting to know these things, do like I did. Purchase a pair of white cotton gloves, because you may not, when you get there, they may not have some that properly fit your hands, and sometimes they will turn you away. But if you get some that fit your hands, especially if you like to do the nails like I do, there are tons of pictures where you see children as young as infants and toddlers, but cognizant enough to know what's going on, watching people not just be lynched, but be dismembered, burned alive, drugged by cars. There is a very infamous yet famous pastor, Cotton Mather. You've followed this podcast for a while. I've spoken on him before, who proudly proclaimed and even wrote in a journal of his that has since been published. You can get it on Amazon, where he had a piece of bone, a piece of a man's body, a native chief's body. And he was proud of it. And it was not unusual for them to take pieces of the bodies as souvenirs, as trophies. That's why some great Black and Native activists, they have no memorials, they have no grave sites, because there wasn't any part of them, I can't even say not enough of them, there wasn't any part of them left to bury or to even cremate and pass down through their generations. But learning the actual history of the United States would damage poor little Timmy and Rebecca. That's because Gladys, Matilda, Henry, and Winifred, one, don't want their grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and children, yes, children, to really know what they did back in the day. Because what the hateful rhetoric that they preach and teach in their homes is nothing compared to the actions that they took before they had these corporate jobs, before they were politicians, before they were police chiefs, before they were school principals. And they know the consequences for their actions now. They don't want those pictures in the books. They don't want you to know what's in that hope chest in the attic or those boxes in the back of the garage or in the back of the basement. Because while y'all out here asking where the slave ships are, ask where the rest of the slave records are, because they didn't destroy them. They became family heirlooms for certain families because they, in their mind, they're still taking pleasure in owning Black people because they can no longer own us physically. They prefer to own our history. No, Urbane. No. Yes, it is taught at home, but not just at home. There are churches that are teaching that even up until this day. Pastor Locke? Anyone? Pastor Hagee? Yeah, I see you. Nope, we aren't born hating anyone. And the thing about it is, it always crosses my mind. A video I saw early last year. There was a nurse and people criticized her for telling the story on TikTok, but it needed to be told because I've witnessed it happen visiting different family members in hospitals and nursing homes and when I worked in the hospital myself. This white woman admitted to getting a young Black boy lynched simply because she was jealous that his sister's dresses looked better than hers. Now, mind you, this is during a time where Black people couldn't just go into the store and get the fanciest linens and get the fanciest dresses. So that means that those kids' mama was scraping together and making their clothes by hand. And instead of saying, hey, do you think your mom would make a dress for me? I want a pretty dress. I'll talk to my mom and see if she can pay her for it. She did the ultimate, I would rather eliminate the competition. Yeah. And the saddest part is a lot of what I call the modern day racist don't realize they're racist, especially children and women. Because they'll go to work, they'll go to the PTAs and, they'll be in the mommy groups with mommies of everywhere, but they don't realize they come in with their nose in the air, already feeling like they're better, feeling as if they should be centered around everything. And if you think I'm joking, just pick any episode of Naked and Afraid and watch the woman on the show. Watch the entitlement. Watch the you should be sent, and watch how many times said woman goes, well, he should care. My feelings should be a priority. Girl, you naked out in the middle of the jungle. The priority is survival. And speaking of survival, I've got 2 videos I'm going to play back to back. That's right on topic with what we have going on today. And I'll see you right after that.
My name is Ryan Deitch, and I'm a student survivor of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School shooting in Parkland, Florida, back in 2018. I, alongside 19 students and a teacher, were in the school journalism department in a closet for a period of roughly 2.5 to 3 hours, not knowing if we were going to live or die. Sadly, that fateful Valentine's Day, 17 individuals, students and faculty, community members and loved ones, were shot and killed, with 17 more being shot and injured. If there's one thing I want to get across to the National Rifle Association, it's that the late John McCain said, with rights come responsibilities. If we are to have these weapons on our streets, if we are to have weapons in our homes, if people are to own these devices, they need to know how to use it and how to be responsible with them. People need to ensure that the price of this freedom isn't being paid in the blood of children.
Watch this, y'all. Why the fuck would that happen? Watch this, y'all. Why the fuck would that happen?
I played the second video twice just so everybody would really catch what happened. I remember when Bill Clinton signed that bill. There really wasn't too much of an uproar where I was at. This was pre the internet as we know it now. Couldn't really get everybody's reaction in real time the way that we can now. But everybody seemed okay with it. Everybody was safer. Everybody still had the Texas Tech shooting from the 70s on their mind. Everybody still had the Atlanta child murders on their mind. And where I lived at the time, right before we moved to where we moved to, there were serial killers that were targeting Black children that had moved through the area, legitimately killed someone at the main street that led to where my grandparents lived. And they used high-powered rifles for that murder. So people were relieved, like, okay, we'll be safe. Our children will be safe. And then good old Republicans, oh, let's just let this lapse. They know what to do. They know what works because we've already had it in the plans and in the works. But no, why do it? Oh, that's right. They can't make hundreds of thousands and up to millions off of the NRA. And just like history always tells us, the most egregious organizations in the United States that go against what the populace wants and what the populace needs, their current stance have been cultivated by a middle-aged white woman. Because it was a middle-aged white woman. You can go back a few episodes of this podcast and you'll see that sculpted the talking points. It's not people. It's the people. It's not, guns don't kill people. It's a mental health issue. Excuse, excuse, excuse. Now, before we get to the good nitty gritty, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Kevin Samuels. May he continue to rest in hell. Sorry, I have no respect for somebody who decided to put a target on Black women because he had an issue with growing up poor with his Black mama, but didn't think about his Black daddy leaving him, and then sitting there talking about a high-value man, and he died broke and penniless in an apartment that he was subletting from someone else. But I digress. These bullshit ass, predominantly Black men, but I've noticed some white men that have jumped on this bandwagon that are out here trying to continue the hate against Black women and women, period. They just don't want them because they do not qualify. That are out here lying all over the internet, talking about they make six figures, they got all this, they got all that, but looking more dusty than the victim of a dust bowl and more broke than a newborn infant, okay? They have all the debt and none of the determination. They call Kevin Samuels their godfather. Well, they have an anthem. And as much as I can tell you that it's trash, as always, I don't want y'all to ever think that I've left anything else. So y'all take a lissy who, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
This is for Kevin Samuels. Hey, these bitches wanna hate me for this one, you heard? Get a job, bitch. No nigga finna pay your fucking rent. Bitch, I'm B-R-O-K-E, bitch, free. You finesse them other niggas, but you can't get me. And I'm O-N-L-Y, fans, never me. Why would I pay for your shit if Pornhub is still free? Let's go! Can't get no money out of me. Let's go! I probably need about 3. Let's go! You gotta pay a fucking fee. Let's go! Just to come and fuck with me. I've been that nigga, but bitches always mad. Don't take it out on me, cause in your
When I told y'all that they was low budget, y'all thought I was playing with y'all, didn't you? But I ain't paying you, but you know what? One thing for certain, two things for sure. Y'all who know me, okay? Y'all know me. Y'all know my tastes. Y'all know what I spend my own coins on, okay? Okay? You know how I live my life, okay? Your girl bougie as hell. So, I know I can pay for my stuff. But one thing for certain, two things for sure, every man that I've run into has no problem at least attempting to match what I do, has no problem at least attempting to make sure I'm taken care of on the level that I can do by myself. The only ones that will sit there and call me a gold digger are the men that have no gold to dig. You dig? Because they're trying to dig my gold. They're trying to get into my diamond mine and put a few in their pockets. Because, like the saying goes, it ain't tricking if you got it. They don't know what's wrong with them. They really don't. Let's get to this month's ad. Still working on the Juneteenth ad. The website is going so super slow. But there will be a video regarding an upcoming powerful movie right after that. So after those two videos, I will be back at you. See you in 2 and 2.
Is nobody talking about this movie? The film that I think is going to shake up things this year. Hey, I'm Taz, and let me tell you about Viola Davis, The Woman King, coming out this September. I mean, look at these pictures. It's about the Dahomey people and the all-women group of warriors. Side note, this is the same group of women that the Dora Milaje from Black Panther are based on. Get this, the movie is produced by Viola Davis and her husband, which is very important because when you produce and act in your own film, you have great control over the quality that's going to come. I was really sold off that cast. I'm talking John Boyega, Jamie Lawson, Lashana Lynch, Sheila Atim, and many new actresses that are all black. And if you would care to know, it's directed by the writer and director of Love and Basketball, Gina herself.
If you can, grab your friends, grab whoever, grab some men and take them with you. If they can act right in the movie theater. But first of all, you cannot go wrong with Madame Viola Davis. You cannot go wrong with her. Everything she touches is just immaculate. Whew, I love it, Picasso. And then for the first time, an all-black cast with all the different shades, all body, it's everything. It's about to be. When we black women said we want a representation, this is what it is. We are shown with strength, conviction, intelligence, and just inner and outer beauty. Y'all know where I'm gonna be. Y'all know, you know where you can find me. Cause baby, they say it's September. Look, I got a brother. I got two relatives that I like whose birthdays in September. This better not drop on their birthdays, cause baby, you gonna get an e-card from me. And as always, I always have a little bit of advice for you all. So, whether you have medical insurance or not, please pay close attention to this. If you have any friends or family members that may not have medical insurance or may have Medicaid or Medicare, write down the minute mark if they don't want to watch the whole show, but tell them to come and watch at this minute mark because this is some good advice for you. See you on the flip side.
Oh yeah, I can tell you exactly why this happened. It's because the numbers on every hospital or doctor bill are straight up fake and made up. So if you have insurance, your hospital has to negotiate with the insurance company for the price of the services. So they set these super high, ridiculous numbers as a starting point for that negotiation. The insurance company says, bullshit, we're paying you a third of that. They haggle a bit and decide on a number. But here's the fucked up part. If you don't have insurance, the hospital still puts that original, ridiculously high, just for negotiation number on your bill. So you could easily end up paying 3, 5, even 10 times what the procedure actually costs. So the next time you get a medical bill, make sure you negotiate. There are even nonprofits called medical billing advocates that will help you negotiate. And if you want to learn more about the fucked up practices behind medical billing, we did an entire episode of Adam Ruins Everything about it called Adam Ruins the Hospital. You can find a clip on YouTube or the entire episode on HBO Max.
And if you've never seen Adam Ruins Everything, you should check it out. It is on HBO Max. Look at me just combining, making new words. And it'll probably give you some insight. And if you follow me on any other social media platform, from time to time, you'll see somebody comment. It's generally one of my family members or a friend saying, once again, Taz ruins everything. Because, you know, we give you the facts on it. And just a reminder, like I said before, it'll either be before or after this video when we're done. Tonight's Tastastic Tuesday, the audio podcast is up. It's less than 10 minutes, I believe. And new blogs are listed with the links in the description, as well as the Amber Heard, the anti-Amber Heard petition. Really quickly. Now, the other trial that I've been is the Chrisley trial from Chrisley Knows Best. I'll start looking for health insurance. Pay close attention to if you have to have referrals, if things consistently have to be in and out of network, especially if you like to travel like I do. And look at your deductibles. That's very, very important. Look at your out-of-pockets and also look at how much they charge for co-pays, because some insurances can seem like so great. And then when you go to a doctor's appointment, you paying $50 to $100 just for them to check your blood pressure. But before I play the clip and let you all know what the verdict was that was handed out, here's a little bit of information you should know. On top of everything else from every episode leading up to this. Coming from the insider.com, the 9 biggest bombshells from the Todd and Julie Chrisley trial. A superseding indictment from February included an email a Chrisley co-conspirator sent to a bank, which included a financial statement showing that Chrisley had $4 million in a Merrill Lynch bank account. The statement was allegedly false since Chrisley did not have an account with Merrill Lynch at the time. When he did open an account with the financial institution in 2008, he never had more than $17,000 on deposit, the indictment said. As a result of the false representations like these, a number of banks issued the conspirators millions of dollars in loans, much of which Todd and Julie Chrisley used for their own personal benefit, the indictment read. Oh, child. So, point number 1, prosecutors say a co-conspirator of Todd Chrisley's once sent a financial statement that showed Chrisley had millions of dollars in a bank account. Second point, the Chrisleys burned through loans to purchase luxury items. Third, but an attorney for Todd Chrisley said that the couple exaggerated some aspects of their lifestyle for their television show. You think? Hold on. Bruce Morris also said that the Chrisleys' ex-employee who turned them in to federal agents was obsessed with Todd and wanted to be him. Well, here's a little nugget I've learned as a business owner. When you flaunt what you have or you allow people to have an inflated sense of your life, Of course they want a single white female you. Because you make it look easy, you make it look simple, you make everything look so fabulous and effortless to them, in the guise of you wanting them to work harder to get to where you are. No, let them see the real. You're basically an employee like everybody else, but I digress. Next point, the woman who made the Chrisleys famous was a previous employee who he owed $10,000. If y'all have not figured out that the wealthy are always in debt to someone, but people rarely collect on those debts, you need to pay attention. Because if everybody collected upon their debts and the rich were taxed, the tables would turn really quickly. Next point. Let me get a first name. Okay, it doesn't give a first name. Braddock recently testified that he and Chrisley had an intimate relationship. Hold on, let me elaborate on this one because this is the part that was juicy that everybody was like skating past. Braddock said he helped the Chrisleys falsify documents in order to obtain bank loans and told prosecutors that he became involved with the fraudulent schemes due to the nature of his relationship with Chrisley. We had a personal relationship of an intimate nature, Braddock said. I would do whatever he needed to be done. According to Braddock, he and Chrisley paid a would-be blackmailer $38,000 in cash. First of all, you're a horrible blackmailer, knowing that they pulling in millions of dollars, and you walked away with $38,000 to keep your mouth shut? You about as bad as these side chicks for rappers. The Chrisley's daughter reported to the FBI that her father and brother were extorting her. Yeah, her father and brother, younger brother, used a sex tape of hers with a contestant from The Bachelorette against her to keep her quiet. What kind of father does that? How did they even verify it? Ugh. I barely want to see my brothers with their clothes on, let alone, oh, child. Another ex-employee said she ruined Chrisley's lives at the direction of Braddock. Donna Cash testified that Braddock told her to commit financial fraud with him in order to ruin Chrisley's finances. And y'all just listening? Like, is this like the code of white people? Because black people, we ride and slide. Like, we not gonna ride or die. Like, we're not doing prison time for you. Not intentionally. If we ended up doing prison time for you, you set us up. And we just didn't have enough money to pay for a proper attorney. White people just out here, the deed was good, so I'm gonna just commit these uber felonies with you. And you don't even like the girls, but since Todd wasn't checking for me either, I guess I'll help you ruin him. What? You done missed a couple episodes, Teresa. This is Dynasty in real life, in real time. But here's the verdict, y'all.
Todd and Julie Chrisley of Chrisley Knows Best have been convicted by the federal government for bank fraud and tax evasion. So as you know, we've been following this Todd Chrisley tax evasion story for the last couple of weeks. A lot of different things came out in this case, including Todd Chrisley's former business partner alleging that they had an intimate relationship, and that's the reason why he falsified documents for Todd Chrisley. We even had Nanny Faye testify saying that she never read any of the financial documents that she signed off on. Well, now TMZ is reporting that the verdict is in. They said Todd and Julie were found guilty on a laundry list of charges, according to our court clerk for the Northern District of Georgia. We're told their accountant, Peter Tarantino, was also found guilty on related charges. Chrisley's attorney, Bruce Morris, tells TMZ, "We are disappointed in the verdict.
They plan on appealing, just like Amber Heard. But y'all, so much has happened. Yes, yesterday and today. So I hate to do this to y'all. I'm going to run through as much as I can, but I'm going to have to do a pre-recorded that'll drop, I'm just going to say mid-afternoon tomorrow. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the bell so you can get notified in real time. Because I'm trying to get through all of this and explain it the best way that I can. But before I play this next clip, coming from HuffPost.com, Trump-backed Senate candidate says gun violence is black people, frankly. Blake Masters, a Republican candidate for U.S. Senate in Arizona who is backed by former President Donald Trump, claims gun violence is largely a racial issue. Let's run this footage.
Well, hey there, y'all. So in today's No Longer Hiding It news, y'all, this evil doppelganger of Howdy Doody is Blake Masters. He is a Republican running for Senate in Arizona. When it comes to the topic of gun violence, this dude who is fully backed by Donald Trump says, we do have a gun violence problem in this country, and it's gang violence. It's people in Chicago, St. Louis shooting each other. Very often, black people, frankly. And the Democrats don't want to do anything about that. He also is a big believer in the Great Replacement theory. He has said, obviously, the Democrats, they hope to just change the demographics of our country. They hope to import an entirely new electorate. Then they call you a racist and a bigot. You know what they say. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, you're a duck.
Now, if you remember last week, I informed you all that they are currently advocating to add drive-bys and things like that into the statistical pool for mass shootings. Why? There's a blog listed in the description that will explain this into detail, but the Cliff Note version is to hide who the true perpetrators are. Throughout the history of the United States, white people, especially white racists, have you looking over here at the boogeyman where they're right here on your shoulder, shooting you or stabbing you in the back and robbing you all at the same time. It is the most long-standing cloak and dagger, smoke and mirrors routine. Why give you facts? No, Chicago is listed 28th as far as deadliest cities the last time I checked. But hold on. Here's one. Gotta touch on this before I call it a night. Like I said, everything else I couldn't get to tonight that you may see listed in the description, I will get to it. Like I said, it'll just be a pre-recording that will hit, and it will run. There was some confusion last week. It will run as if it's live. It's just pre-recorded. So there just won't be any of me answering your questions back and forth. But there's also a blog in the description linked in there regarding this next thing, but we got to talk about this.
Hey, you to the boy moms, I'm gonna need y'all to come to the front of the line real quick. All the boy moms, yeah, bring y'all ass here. I just need to know if y'all ever been through this before. So my son just turned 16 yesterday. Shout out to him, big 16. And recently I had went through a situation where his phone was like ringing, and I decide I'm gonna go ahead and answer it, right? Why the fuck did I decide I was gonna answer his phone? Why do that? So in the midst of me, hello, she like, who is this? Who is this? You answer Keon's phone and I want to know who you are. She thought I was one of his little girlfriends, right? She said something, because you're answering Keon's phone and I want to know who you are. I said, well, who are you? I didn't even want to drop it on her just yet, like as to who I was, right? Because I'm the HBIC in this motherfucker, shorty, and you just a little tag along at this point. But in any event, I digress. Who are you? No, I think you should tell me who you are because I'm his girlfriend. I said, oh, you one of them. That is so funny. Well, I'm his mother. I'm his mother. Yeah. It's me. Yeah. And quite frankly, I'm going to be the only other girl that's gonna be answering his phone. And not for nothing, you on your way out, baby. I just want you to know that. Yeah, see, you too busy worrying about what else Keon got going on, and you ain't worried about my baby. Yeah, you're done. I just want you to know that. But it's okay, baby. Have your fun. You just...
That, ladies and gentlemen, is emotional incest. This is not the time of house phones where you didn't know who was picking up the phone when you called your friend, your significant other. This is when generally everyone in the family, at least in my household, at a certain age, had their own cell phone. My children are grown. Even before they were grown, if I was driving, people knew that there was a chance that my children would answer the phone. Clients, friends, family. To this day, I do not answer the phone, respond back to text while I'm driving. And people knew my schedule when they were in school and when they were minors. So they knew what to say, what not to say. And my kids weren't nosy and scrambling through my text, but whoever out of generally the oldest two that were sitting in the front with me, or if the youngest two were with me, they would have my phone, they would answer, they would respond, whatever. But did you hear how this woman was talking from the get-go when she answered the phone, and even when she's talking, giving the response? Yes, I am quite clear on AAVE, African American Vernacular English. She was purposefully, and she's purposefully speaking as a teenager. She knew what she was doing. Then she's like, oh, you're not putting my baby first. I'm going to be first. I'm good. That's not your man. Ma'am, that is not your man. And if you can dictate who your child can and cannot date, there's a problem. There's one thing to advising your children regarding toxic or abusive relationships. There's a whole nother thing, because you are no longer on this top tier pedestal of claiming dominance over them and dominance over who they spend time with. And instead of just saying, oh, I can understand your confusion, his phone was just ringing, he's in the shower, or he's handling some chores outside, this is his mother, can I take a message? Because even now, there are times where I've asked my kids to grab my phone. Now, my youngest son, he generally doesn't talk to anybody but me. He'll answer the phone and just put it on speaker and hold it up to my face. Or my kids may be over here, I may be at their house, or we may be out together, especially when the tiny humans have games like, oh, can you, if such and such calls, can you answer this? Or can you take this over to such and such? Yes, there's no reason for me to be like, hey, y'all, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Oh, you want to know who this is on his phone? Blah, blah, blah. No. No. Women, just because you feel that society has let you down, you cannot cultivate, you cannot bear, cultivate, and raise your ideal mate. That's not how that goes. That's not how that goes at all. And these are the mothers that will find every little thing wrong with the mate, especially if the mate is doing something well. And I've experienced this twice in my life, where one, I was dating someone who pretty consistently would come over to my house to have dinner. And one night, it was funny, his mother and I had made the same main dish. The side dishes were different. And he thought it was cute, like, oh yeah, y'all vibing. She was pissed. Pissed. Then we were supposed to go to a formal event, and he did not have the proper attire for the event. So I said, oh, I can take you to where my dad and my brothers go. It's very reasonably priced. They can tailor it. Bada bing, bada boom. In one day, you're pretty much good if we get there at a certain time. Why the next day has she expedited him a suit off the rack? He still had to get it tailored. Like, it was bad. But as always, thank you for joining me. And each one teach one, each one reach one. Like I said, make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you know when tomorrow's pre-recorded catch-up episode drops. And y'all be safe now.
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Feeling fussy, walking in my Balenciennes, trying to bring out the fabulous. Cause I give a fuck way too much.